Hi everyone, today we're going to do some budget carnivore meal prep. I'm Anita from KetogenicWoman.com, where I share keto and carnivore recipes and other cooking ideas that have helped me to lose 145 pounds so far. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you check out some of my other videos, and for those of you returning, welcome back. I do hope you like today's meal prep. Okay, today I'm doing a pretty big meal prep. I'm going to do it a little different than some of the meal preps that I've done in the past, where I walk you through cooking each one. Most of these things I've cooked on previous videos. The real point of what I want to show you by the end of this video is how to put these meals together and what the budget will be. Like, I'm going to show you the cost of all these items and the cost per meal and the macros per meal. My aim is to create 3 days of meals here with what I'm cooking. So what exactly am I making? Let me go through that. I've got eggs. I have lots of eggs. I'm going to be doing a dozen eggs in the Instant Pot, as well as making some bacon and egg cups in a muffin tin. I have some country style pork ribs. These were about $7.50 per pound. I'm going to make those in the Instant Pot. I have some chicken thighs. These will go in the air fryer. It's my favorite way to make them because the skin gets nice and crispy. This was $5 something a pound. I have 2 pounds of bacon that I'm going to make, and I got these for $5.68 for 500 grams, which is a little more than a pound. I believe it worked out to 36 cents per slice of bacon, although I'm going to have to count them when I open them. And I have 2 pounds of ground beef that I'm going to make. This I got for $4.75 a pound. So I will combine all this into meals later and show you how I add things to different meals to tweak the macros, because this might be different for you, right? Currently I'm doing about 60 to 65% fat, and some of you are doing all the way up to high fat carnivore, 80 plus or more fat. So I'll give you tips on how to make the meals go to your ratios. So I am going to unwrap everything and get started with my meal prep. Lately, I've been making my eggs in the Instant Pot because it's really the fastest method. I'm using I guess what I'm calling the 222. I cook them on manual for 2 minutes, just on regular pressure. Then I let them release for 2 minutes, and then I soak them in ice water for about 2 minutes, and they come out perfect. My favorite way to make bacon is to lay them on a sheet, on parchment paper, and bake them in the oven. I do double them up. Now I'm putting 6 slices in a single layer because I'm going to make something special with these that you'll see later in the video. All of the rest are going to go on the pan doubled up. And I can fit quite a bit of bacon on these pans when they're doubled up, and they'd still cook very crispy. I will generally cook them at 375 or 400. I'll set the timer for about 20 minutes, check on them. You don't need to flip them over, but you could if you wanted to. These will take maybe 30 or 40 minutes. I'm kind of fussy about wanting them to be the precise crispness. So I'm taking my 6 pieces off for the other recipe, and then I'm going to let the others continue to bake. Okay, so the bacon is still baking in the oven, but I did take out these pieces that I had put in single layers in order to make the muffin cups. These are bacon and egg cups, I call them. They are, I have done these on YouTube before, and they're in one of my old keto ebooks. I have some recipe books on my website, and this is in there. And so the reason that I pre-bake the bacon until it's about half done is so that by the time these bake and get the eggs how I like them, they will be, the bacon will be crispy and the eggs will still have a yolk that is not hard, but kind of jammy the way I like it. So that's the plan. This is going to go in the oven at about 350, well, it's gonna go in the oven at 350 for half an hour, something like that, or until everything looks good. And it's truly just so simple. You know, this is a great meal prep egg recipe, bacon and egg recipe, because you can literally just take them out of the fridge. You could warm them up if you like. I often just like eating them like that. Okay, so I'm going to put just a little bit of salt on top of that, and then they'll go in the oven. I'll show them to you later when they come out. Okay, so the rest of the bacon and the bacon and egg cups are in the oven baking, and I'm going to do the air fryer chicken thighs now. I have the air fryer heating up to 400 degrees. I have dried these off to keep them as dry as possible because I want to have that crispy skin. And I'm just adding kosher salt and white pepper. I like the Redmond's kosher salt. This is 3 parts salt to 1 part white pepper. And this skin will be nice and crispy at the end, which is what I like. Okay, so these will be going into the air fryer for 20 minutes at 400 degrees. These are the country pork ribs. I never knew what they were. To me, they're not really ribs. I have pork ribs in my freezer and they look like ribs with, you know, not much meat. But what these are, I heard about these from Christy over at Meeting Wellness. She told me about them. Look at these things. They look like chunks of pork belly, some of them. They do have just a little tiny bit of bone in a couple of them, and some cartilage. But yeah, they are super fatty, super tender, and I've had them a couple of times now, so thank you very much, Christy. They're about $7.50 a pound here in, you know, my area in Canada. And they come out super tender and you can do all kinds of things with them. So I'm going to cook them in the Instant Pot, but first I want to season them. So I am just going to cover them with my favorite kosher salt and white pepper. For those of you, because I get so many people who leave comments, well, why can't you put something else on them? Your food is so bland. I don't actually find it bland. I love this. I'm sensitive to most seasonings. Black pepper keeps me up all night, but white pepper doesn't. I can do kosher salt. I can do a few other things, but now I've just grown to really like plain salt and white pepper. If you can tolerate more seasonings, then, you know, by all means do so. You know, you're free to add whatever seasonings you like and can tolerate and make you feel good. So, but this is what I do, and I don't feel deprived in the very least. I enjoy it very much. So I'm going to put these in the Instant Pot. I'm just going to use the meat setting and just let it do its thing, and you'll see it later. Okay, so I'm going to bake these in the oven. This is just basically going to be crispy ground beef. One of the reasons I like doing it this way is because you can then use the cooked ground beef any way you like in the end when it's prepped like this. So each one of these little pans has 1 pound of lean ground beef in it. And you don't even really need to season it because your seasonings might change depending on how you use this after. I might use it in a soup. I might use it to make, some of it to make a pizza crust, you know, with some eggs and cheese. meat bread. I mean, you can do anything with this. So I tend to, at most, maybe put some salt and pepper on it, but I'm just gonna leave it plain just to keep it simple so that later when I figure out exactly how I'm going to use these, that I can just do that. So I'm going to set my oven to broil. I'm going to let these broil for 10 minutes, but not too close to the burner. Like put it down low in your oven. After 10 minutes, break it up with a spatula and then put it back in until it's the way you like it. I usually wait until it gets nice and crispy on top. Okay, so I've done my meal prep. It was quite a flurry of activity in here. And I have made 3 days worth of food. I thought, even though I don't eat it all at once, this would be broken up into 2 or 3 meals, each of these plates. I thought it would be easier for display purposes, just so that you could see everything. Okay, so here's 1 day's worth of food. Each of these days is less than $10 and is also 1700 calories. This particular day here, so what we have is we have 4 of those egg cups that we made, 2 pieces of bacon, 8 ounces of ground beef, about 4 ounces of the fatty pork ribs, and 2 eggs. So this particular plate is 65% fat and 35% protein. For myself, what I would do is I would break this up into 2 or 3 meals. There's different things you can do, like with the pork, you can slice it thin and fry it, you know, with a couple of eggs instead of the boiled eggs. This you can, I mean, I just like eating it like that. But you can certainly cut it up and put it in, you know, make a soup or something. So that's that one. So this is another day. And this particular day has 8 pieces of the bacon and 2 eggs, 3 of the chicken thighs, and again, 8 ounces of ground beef. There's no way I could eat all this in one sitting. So this would be 2 to 3 meals for me. Lately, I've been eating 3 smaller meals. By the way, all of these days are high protein. They're 150-ish grams. This particular plate here is 60-40. So this is close to what I'm eating now. I'm in that 60-40 range. So for me, there's no need, like I don't add any more fat. If you were doing 80-20, say, or even 75-25, and you felt that this wasn't enough fat, because I've rendered all the fat off the bacon. This is how I like it. There is some fat in the chicken thighs with skin, but just add butter to this. Add a couple more tablespoons of butter to this, you know, maybe with your ground beef, or mayo to make deviled eggs. It's so easy to just add a little more fat to get from the, you know, 60-40 up to 70-30 or even 80-20. And then this one here, I threw something special on there. Again, we've got 2 of the egg cups, half a pound of ground beef, about half a pound of the pork. These weights that I use for calculating are raw weights, and then, you know, this looks like about 6 ounces after it's done, and same with this. 1 chicken thigh, and I threw on a pack of water, like a can of water-packed sardines. Water-packed sardines, the cheapest ones in my area are Brunswick. You can get them for $2 or less normally. I've even seen them in the dollar store for $1.25. I don't know why they call it a dollar store and then charge $1.25, but that's what happens. And again, this is very typical of a day that I would eat. I purposely put this can of sardines on this plate, even though I didn't prep the sardines. There's no prep required. I just opened the can and put a little mustard on. I typically will have some kind of seafood every day. And if I was doing budget days, I love canned salmon, but it's $5 a can. However, you get 50 grams of protein. This is about, I think, 15 or 18 grams of protein, and it's less than $2. So, you know, you gotta weigh these things out. But like I said, each of these days of food is going to be less than $10. And we also have all of this left over for another day. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you knew that I didn't use up all the food to make up those 3 days. You know, got a good start on the next 2 days here as well. And to this, I would add cans of sardines for myself personally, because I feel like the omega-3s are super important, and you know, sardines are the most budget-friendly way to add those in to your diet. So I hope you have enjoyed this. Oh, I wanted to say one more thing here. I did also get a jar of bacon fat from making the bacon. And this is an extreme budget saver because in my area, I mean, butter is the cheapest I ever see it now is $6.88 for the conventional butter. I do prefer the organic butter. We don't typically see grass-fed here, but I do like the Kirkland organic butter. It's about $8 a pound. It's probably more. Every time I go, it seems to be higher. I consider this a free product because I bought the bacon, I've calculated everything, you know, the cost with the bacon. This came off, and so you can use this to fry up your eggs. You can also use it to make bacon mayo. I'll put a link for that below. Free product. So, you know, all these leftovers are great and they will get used. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. And remember, these are prices in my local area. Your prices may be completely different. This came about because Christy from Meeting Wellness and I are collaborating together and doing a budget live stream in January, and we each made a shopping list and we went out, bought some things. She's the one that told me about the country ribs, so thank you, Christy, because I really do like them. And I found in my area that Walmart, which is where we shopped, was not the cheapest for me. And so many of the things that I have, even though I originally was checking Walmart for the prices and comparing them with Christy's Walmart and her prices, I found it was way cheaper in some of the other stores nearby. And so that's what today's video is based on. So buy the cheapest you can get in your area, and I'm sure that you can fit carnivore into your budget in some way. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video, and watch for that live stream coming up in January.